feels like a real fish, guys. Oh my gosh. Wow. That is on the tube fly. Got so excited I almost fell out of the boat. Holy mackerel. Oh, buddy. When that rod is pegged like that, you know it's a nice fish. Never get tired of feeling that. He is putting up a tussle because he's turning the kayak. I'm not turning it. He's turning it. Keeps turning me towards my fishing partner. Oh my God, he's pulling drag. Holy moly. It's not that loose. I'm going to tighten it just a hair though. Oh my gosh. I'm not even close to him yet, guys. Oh my gosh. What a rainbow. Oh, that's a big fish, guys. Oh my gosh. Got him. In the basket. Woo! Oh man. We'll take that. And he's off the hook. That's good. Whoa, hey. Easy there, big boy. Gonna hook me. Gonna hook me with my own hook. What's up with that? Look at that, guys. Look at that big old fish. Beautiful. Awesome. Power dive. Going back.
Howdy folks, Cal Kellogg here. That was an absolutely beautiful fall trout I caught pulling a trolling fly. And today is a good day to talk about trolling flies. It's Sunday here in the Sierra Nevada foothills. And we've got a weird weather system going through. It's almost like a low pressure area is going through. I got some breeze, I got some sun, and I got some heavy clouds. And it doesn't translate on the camera, but the humidity level is really, really high. So it feels a little bit like I'm in Hawaii right now. But anyway, my point is that the weather is starting to change. Fall is right around the corner, and fall is my hands down favorite time to pull trolling flies. And I'm certainly not going to take full credit. I'm not going to even take a large percentage of the credit. But I will tell you this. There has been a resurgence in pulling trolling flies over the past few years. And I have certainly been part of repopularizing that technique. I've been an avid fly troller for about 10 years at this point. About 5 years ago, I started designing my own flies. And as of now, some flies have come and gone. But as of now, I have 5 of my patterns available in the Catch America store. They all have a different purpose. There's 4 of them right there. And here's number 5. Number 5 is a tube fly right there. So what I'd like to do is take a moment to talk about each of the flies we offer, what they're best used for, how I use them out on the water, what situations I use them in, and hopefully this is going to enable you to catch more and bigger fish this fall when we get into prime time in terms of pulling trolling flies. Right here, this is a metalhead trolling fly. This is an orange one. They come in a wide range of colors. Color preferences are like opinions. Everybody has one, and you're going to find the color combination that's right for you on the Catch America website. Not just when we're talking about metalheads, but when we're talking about every fly in the lineup. So I'm not really going to talk about colors. I'm going to talk about applications. When I originally started playing with this fly, I was intending it to be a speed trolling fly. And I will say that metal head, when combined with the action disc, and the fly is pulled at a relatively high rate of speed, say 2.25 all the way up to 3+ miles an hour, it puts out a ton of vibration, and this fly works great at that speed. But we've also found over the years that it works very well at slow speeds too, and that's why it's really our bread and butter fly. It's caught fish up to about 13 pounds so far. We've been pulling it for about 4 years now. It catches small fish, large fish. I almost always have a metalhead in some color combination in the water during the fall, during the winter, and during the spring. It's just a very productive pattern. It has a very prominent eye. The metalhead is unique. It puts off some unique vibrations. It has some rubber integrated into the body of the fly right there, actually some latex. Bread and butter fly, guys. You need these in your arsenal, 6 to 8 different color combinations, and give them a chance. Get them in the water. If you're not a fly troller, you got to put in a little bit of time. It took me a few months before I really became a believer in pulling trolling flies, but my first big trout was a big wild rainbow at Lake Elsinore, and that fish was almost 8 pounds. So give them a chance, learn to fish them, put in your time, and you will be rewarded with some very nice fish. So that is the metalhead. That's our bread and butter fly. Now let me grab the old trigger booger here. I am very proud of our trigger boogers. Some folks know this, a lot of you don't. I spent about 10 years in my late teens and early 20s when I fished exclusively with fly fishing gear. I didn't pick up a gear style rod, a bait casting rod at all. I just fished with fly gear. And, you know, in the fly fishing community, the woolly booger is one of the very best subsurface flies you can fish. The problem is when it comes to, you know, guys like you and I that like to go out and troll, problem is that fly fishermen pretty much only use the woolly booger in olive, black, and brown, with black being the overwhelming favorite color. Black, you know, woolly boogers work great when you troll them, but I wanted to design a line of flies that had more vibrant, more robust colors, combination colors that give us the dark over light, just different color combinations to really trigger those strikes from trout that live in reservoirs. And that's when I came up with the trigger booger concept. Basically a woolly booger, but it has much bolder colors than you typically see on a woolly booger. It doesn't have a metal head. It doesn't have an eye. This is a fly that can be trolled. It can also be teamed with a water bobber and cast from the bank. It's at its best at somewhat lower speeds, say 2 miles an hour down to 1.5 miles an hour. So it's more of a finesse presentation. But again, the woolly booger has caught tens of thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of trout. So I think I've actually made it better for us gear guys with the bolder color combinations. Give it a try. Again, I run this fly with the action disc right on the nose, rig it up on 8 to 10 pound test fluorocarbon leader material, and you will be yelling, fish on. This is a trigger fly, and I am super proud of the design of this fly. You can see it's a little bit larger than a metalhead or a trigger booger. It's a little bit longer, you know, bigger presentation, bigger fish. Sometimes that's true. So I wanted to come up with a larger fly when big fish are feeling aggressive, when they're grabbing big bait, when they're grabbing, you know, small trout, stuff like that. I wanted a trolling fly in the lineup that would work well in that situation. But here's one of the problems when you start running flies that have longer filaments. To make the fly bigger, you've got to use longer filaments. You start getting trout grabbing at the back of those filaments a lot of times, and those end up being short strikes. You'll be out on the water, wham, you get hit, but you don't hook the fish. It's because the fish is coming in and they're grabbing at the tail of that fly and they're not getting a hook in their mouth. So here's what I came up with. Let me pull all the tail back. And you can see that tail it's marabou. It's got tinsel in it, very vibrant, very lifelike when it gets wet. It swoops back into just a deadly bait fish silhouette. But let me pull all this back. See the hook right there? The hook is actually rigged on a piece of flexible wire. And what that does, and that hook is sharp, boy. It gets that hook right back on the tail of that fly. You come in nipping, you're going to get to see the net. Another trick this allows you to do, if the bite's tough, say the water's cold or something like that, You can put a threaded night crawler on here as well. You can thread a crawler on there, a piece about that long. Now you're combining the effectiveness of a fly with the taste and texture of a night crawler. Are you kidding me? How can that not catch trout? So these are available in several colors. It's a deadly fly. Again, run the action disc right on the nose of that fly. 8 to 10 pound test, fluorocarbon leader material. That's how I rig all the trolling flies. Get them wet. Get them in front of the trout, and you will catch some big fish on this fly. I have, you will. When the trout rather wants something with a little bit bigger silhouette, something a little more robust than say a metalhead, reach for the trigger fly, and they will put some very nice fish in the boat. So I want you to visualize the scene. You're out at a lake. Big trout are up on top, and they're chomping. They're chomping big bait fish. They're chomping, small kokanee, small trout. The guys around you, they're having success pulling stick baits. They're armed up with rapalas and yozuris and stuff like that. But you want to show the fish something large that they haven't seen. You really want to set your presentation apart from what other guys are pulling. What you want to reach for is an Apollo trolling fly. That is the Apollo right there, the Catch America Apollo. I was looking for something that would rival the effectiveness of the renowned broken back Rapala, and I got it worked out right here in this fly. Let me show you some of the features of this fly. First of all, it's very large. It has great movement. It is tied with the same basic materials as a trigger fly, just bigger. When that gets in the water, it's gonna flow back into a baitfish shape, but it's gonna be very bulky. It's gonna look like a big meal. Okay, that's what you need to show those big aggressive trout when they are really in the mood to feed. You gotta show them a big meal. This fly has a larger, heavier metal head than the metal head right there, and it also features 2 hooks. It's a double hook fly. There are 2 number 6 hooks in this fly attached by a short piece of flexible wire, and what that results in is a fly that has great articulation. You can see that rear hook moving independently of the front hook. Through the water, the swimming action is absolutely incredible. Team it with an action disc, pull it between 2 and 4 miles an hour, and hang on. This is a big fish presentation. Not that you won't catch some small trout on it, you will. You could pull 6-inch rapalas and catch some small trout on them, but what you're targeting with this fly is those trophy bites. I would put one of these in the spread when I'm at a lake that produces trophy trout. Just have it out there, use it as your bonus line, and when that rod goes off, chances are you're going to have something really handsome on the end of the line. We call it the Apollo because it was the Apollo mission that landed on the moon. It broke new ground, and that's what this fly does. It is the perfection of the double hook philosophy of streamer flies. It mimics the action of that broken back Rapala. It flat out works, and it catches big fish. Last but not least, we have the Catch America tube fly. And a very good friend of mine, he calls this the mess around and find out, but he doesn't use the word mess around. I think you know what he says. And why he says that is, this fly is one that you can rig with a treble hook. Now, this fly confuses a lot of people because out of the package, it doesn't have a hook. It doesn't come with a hook. As the name indicates, it is tied on a tube. So what you do, get yourself a piece of 8 or 10 pound fluorocarbon leader material, tie on a number 6 red treble hook using a Palomar knot at the end of that leader, then put on a bead or 2, give yourself a little bit of space between the back of the fly and that hook. Put those on the leader. Then insert your leader through the back of the tube, out through the front, and what you're going to end up with is a fly sporting a number 6 red treble. Tube flies, they look the same from all different angles. Run that action disc right on the nose of the fly, anywhere from about 1.5 to 2.2. That's the sweet spot. I run these a ton when I'm guiding, because that treble hook is so effective at hooking fish. Now, if you don't like trebles or you're on a water that doesn't allow trebles, by all means, go ahead and run an octopus hook back there. And if you're at a place like Pyramid Lake, go ahead and get some barbless octopus hooks, rig them with that. You can run a barbless hook on these if you have to, but if you can get away with it, I strongly recommend that you run that number 6 red treble. It just mops up the fish. It is super deadly. I've caught a lot of double-digit trout on tube flies. Our tube flies come in some really hard-hitting colors. They're absolutely beautiful. Get out there, get them wet, and you're going to get your fish on. That's a look at our entire lineup of trolling flies. Now, a lot of guys ask me, is there ever a time when you team the trolling flies with Dodgers? And yes, sometimes I do, especially when I'm at a lake like Shasta, a big deep reservoir. I'll shorten up a leader and I'll put them behind, a 6-inch sling blade or Catch America Dodger. Let the Dodger, rather than the action disc, impart the action. But by and large, most of the time, the majority of the time, I am running my trolling flies naked, save for that action disc. It looks very natural, puts out a lot of flash, a lot of vibration, and because, globally speaking, there aren't a ton of people pulling trolling flies, you're giving those trout something that they haven't seen before. Give a fish, any fish, a novel presentation, and you've got a much better chance of hooking up than by pulling something that everybody else is using that the fish has likely had, prior experience with. That's it for now. I'm Cal Kellogg. Get some trolling flies. Get your fish on. Trolling fly season is right around the corner. It's going to be epic. Our lakes are almost full at this point for this time of the year. And you can better believe I'm going to be out all over Northern California pulling trolling flies. I'm going to be getting my trout on, baby. I'll catch you next time right here on YouTube.